Board of County Commissioners on Wednesday, September 27th. We are not on Grassroots TV yet. We're dealing with some issues, but we are lots of other places, including right here. So are there any additions or deletions to the agenda, Kara?
No additions or deletions, but just a heads up that for item 5A, staff will be recommending continuing that item, and staff will be present to discuss further with all of you.
Okay. Is there anybody in the room who'd like to make public comments about a topic that's not on the agenda today? Okay, come on up.
Perfect timing. Right over here in front of this mic right there. It should be red, which means on.
Hello, Cecily.
Hi. I just wanted to come today.
Can you give your name for the record?
My name is Cecily D'Angelo, and I wanted to introduce myself and my organization, which is Roaring Fork Safe Passages. We will be presenting next Tuesday at length, and I wanted to give you a little bit of background of why I started the organization and what our mission is. We are just under a year old, and I created the organization because the dangers of wildlife vehicle collisions have always been present, but they are growing in this valley, both for humans and for wildlife. And this is now a problem that we have a solution to. And we have evidence-based solutions which can reduce wildlife vehicle collisions by 90 to 95% while recreating some of the fragmented wildlife corridors that have been so horribly broken up in our valley. During the first 11 months of our organization, we have gathered a nice group of Facebook supporters. We have 350 Facebook supporters. We have a chunk of email subscribers, 200, and I've been able to raise over $100,000 from local and small donors, which I feel like is a good start for the first year of the organization. We have been able, with that money, to hire the lead expert in the state of Colorado, and she was the on wildlife crossings and passages, and she was the lead author on the Colorado Parks and Wildlife and CDOT Western Slope Prioritization Plan. She will be with me next Tuesday and has a draft prioritization plan for the Roaring Fork Valley. So that draft prioritization plan is going to look at 3 locations in the Roaring Fork Valley, which will receive the priority for us to look at and create mitigation plans for each. After that, we will move on to do mitigations for each of those 3 locations. And that's sort of the beginning of our process in order to abide by and be in line for what CDOT needs to see for the future of these types of projects. So yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself and introduce the project as you guys get some information on it this coming Friday.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Long time no see. Wow.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Anybody online who'd like to speak about a topic that's not on the agenda today? If you want to, you should raise your hand, but I don't see any. So I'm going to close the public comments and go to commissioner comments.
I'll make.
Okay.
I just want people to know that yesterday we had a meeting. That's Dan. Is that Dan
Kelly,
Popers?
somebody. Steve needs to mute.
Somebody's talking
I
somewhere.
think it's Dan. Maybe it was Steve. Anyway, yesterday we went, Greg Francie and I and John Peacock went over to Twin Lakes, and we met with the Lake County commissioners and staff. It's a great meeting. I really want to thank them. They're really fun, and we had great discussions. But the public really needs to know it's beautiful over there. That side of the mountain, that side of the pass, is a little bit ahead of us as far as the leaves. The colors were incredible, you know, with Twin Lakes being full to the brim. And Greg gave us a little backcountry tour on the back road for Leadville when the view plane was just indescribable. It was
My favorite spot.
That's why I'm not really disclosing it. It was really
It's the shortcut to Leadville.
Yeah, shortcut to Leadville. But just so people know, It's probably going to be crazy up there this weekend, but it's just gorgeous. It was just glowing. It was, you drive through that one section right before you get into Twin Lakes, and it's just like you're in this tunnel of color. And it was just vibrant. It was really beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful fall day, which is what makes this time of year so special for me, and I think for everyone. It was this great opportunity. So hopefully people will get out there and enjoy what we have left of our beautiful weather here, and hopefully we'll be seeing snow soon.
Everyone except semi-drivers.
Yeah, and we talked about that with Lake County, and actually we saw a couple of vehicles while we were sitting at the restaurant over in Twin Lakes, wondering, how long were they, and did they come over the pass, but yeah, so we really get along well with Lake County, and we shared a lot of good information with them. It was a really great meeting, so thanks, Francie, for helping set that up. It was great.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Just to add on, the issues they have there, no surprise, affordable housing, workforce housing, being able to finance projects. They've got a jail project they're trying to finance. They've got a hospital that needs money. They've got some pretty dire financial situations there, and they're very small staff. They're doing their best they can. But I think there's some great synergies, and I'm hoping we can meet with them more often than once every year or two. I wanted to, if I could, Big Pivots is a publication by Alan Best, who's a journalist in Denver who writes on mountain towns, energy, water issues. He's a thorough shoe leather reporter, and he has an article out, which I've sent to all of you, called The Quest for No Carbon Aviation. And basically he covered the meeting that we all had with Jennifer Holmgren from LanzaTech about the sustainable aviation fuel last month. So just wanted to highlight that and say that it's making the news, and you can read it there. And I always put in a pitch for Alan Best. I think he's one of the best reporters in the state, and really appreciate having him paying attention to what we're doing up here. Thanks.
Can I ask him a question?
Of course.
Did you mention anything about the efforts in Eagle County? Apparently Eagle County is looking at creating a sustainable fuel plant. Oh, thank you. I didn't want to echo. A sustainable fuel plant.
He didn't go into detail about anything else, but I think this was specifically about this meeting. But it'd be great to hear about that.
Yeah, Jeannie McQueenie told me about it, and I sent the information on to Jackie Francis to pass on to the lady who spoke here, because I missed that meeting that we had here, but I did watch it, and she was very impressive, and yeah, I can't wait to see where we go with it. So thanks, Greg, for bringing that to our attention.
A Western Slope sustainable aviation fuel plant might be something worth considering.
Yeah, they want to put it by their landfill, which is not far from their jet center. So, yeah.
Steve.
Yeah, first of all, there is a little bit of an audio problem between the microphones there and the Zoom connection. It was the same thing yesterday, but I don't know if there's anything you can do on your end.
Sorry about that.
I wanted to mention that Lake County is participating. They are in our opioid abatement settlement area region, the 6-county region that we're in. They're participating in that, even though they're short-staffed. They've been, had a presence at the various CDs. Also, I wanted to point out that there will be today at Aspen City Hall from 5:30 to 6:30 an emergency preparedness event, which I wish I could be there. I think it will be an important one for people to be thinking about. If there is an emergency, how are they going to deal with it? How are they going to be ready for it? What would there be evacuation route and whatnot? So I hope lots of people can show up at that today at 5:30. Thanks.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Steve.
that event is Aspen Aware, Pick and Prepare, and it's at City Hall, the new City Hall building.
Awesome. I wanted to add on to what you said, Steve, about the opioid group. They did tell us that they have a pretty big drug problem in Lake County, and it accounts for their high number of detainees in their jail, which is only holding cells right now, so they are transferring their inmates to Chaffee County, and they average 28 detainees a day for a population of 8,000, and most of them are drug-related.
And
Pretty
domestic
intense. Kelly?
Thank you. I'm sorry I missed joining you all. I'm still not feeling great, so I'm here at home. I did want to take the time to remind people that an election is coming this November, and now is a great time to update your voter registration and check and make sure it's accurate. Or if you have plans to be traveling, your mail ballot will not be forwarded, and you can have it sent to a different address. Or if you will be overseas, you will have an opportunity to receive an electronic ballot that will then be returned and marked and tabulated. So visit pitkinvotes.com in order to check your information and make sure it is accurate, because even though this is an odd year election and it is a very small ballot, these are important things to vote on, including school board races and tax questions, both of which I personally see as very intrinsic to democracy. So I hope everyone participates. I also want to make a public service announcement to get on folks' calendars for the last Thursday of October. Let me double check the date. That is the 26th for our community summit related to the Wild and Scenic Feasibility Collaborative. We'll be hosting a community meeting that invites anyone who's interested in the future of the Crystal River to come and learn about the various protective measures that are being considered, and to, put your voice forward for the river. So please plan to attend that from 5 to 9 p.m. or 5 to 8:30 p.m. At the Carbondale High School. And we will be circulating more public information where folks can indicate if they will need childcare to attend. Dinner will be provided, and I hope you all mark your calendar, because this is a huge culmination of work that the steering committee has done, and it will be a very important opportunity for our community to articulate the future that we envision for the Crystal River.
Thank you, Kelly. I'll be there. I wanted to mention that last night I went to a fundraiser which was sponsored by the Wilderness Workshop for Dolores National Monument effort that they are working on. I just forgot the guy's name. He's out of Grand Junction, but he's worked a lot with Will at Wilderness Workshop. And so I think his name is Scott. I can't remember his last name. So Scott and I were talking. He said, well, that cowboy over there on the couch over there, he had a really interesting thing to say. And of course I looked over and it was Ty, my son. But the comment that was interesting was that it's such a beautiful area, and if you make it a national monument, aren't you just asking people to come to it and make it crowded? And I just think that's a really interesting question to ask about as we protect public lands, which I totally believe in. But if we do a huge protection, we are inviting people to come in and make it feel less protected. So it's sort of an existential question about public lands. But Wilderness Workshop has new hats out. They're totally awesome. They're baseball caps, and they say, I love public lands. So that's a good way to get involved with Wilderness Workshop, is to get one of their hats.
That's an interesting question he has.
Yeah.
You need to protect the Dolores because it could easily be trashed very quickly. But you don't want to draw more attention to it. There's the rub.
Yeah, there's
If
the
it was a
rub.
wilderness, you could keep numbers down, make it harder to get there, and still protect it. But that's not going to go over.
There's a
very
couple
well.
of people. That's all right. I kind of like it, actually.
Yeah.
Let's leave
Hey,
it like that
we
for a
can
little
still
bit.
see each other. This is working.
It's great. Leave it like that.
Maybe leave it
It's
alone.
wonderful.
Yeah.
A couple of people have said that about getting classification. Oh.
That's too
Can you
bright.
turn it down, Amy? That's really bright.
It takes us
It's
time.
like on or off. Can we do dimmed?
Yeah, off works.
A couple people brought that up about getting wild and scenic classification for the Crystal, but I don't think that's as applicable. But
No, I'm glad you were
Anyway.
there. I didn't even know about it. I would have gone.
yeah, I got the invitation yesterday.
Okay.
For yesterday
It
afternoon.
wasn't something they,
But it was at my friend's house, so it was,
Okay.
just down the road from my house. It was easy to go.
could I add one more comment?
Yes, of course.
There's an interesting op-ed in the Colorado Sun today by Eric Moeller. I think he's from Pueblo. And it's about the 14th Amendment and how, why we really need to follow and pay attention to the Constitution. And he mentions a couple things very briefly. The Constitution places several limitations on whom voters may choose as their president. For example, the president must be a natural-born citizen who has attained the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident of the United States. So former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger wouldn't qualify because he's an Austrian. And as much as fans adore her, the article says, Olivia Rodrigo, the rising pop star who's age 20, wouldn't qualify for another 15 years. Additionally, the Constitution limits presidents to 2 terms, so former presidents Clinton, Bush, and Obama would not be eligible. So it goes into it. It talks about the 14th Amendment. It talks about the Electoral College. There are things we like and don't like about the Constitution, yet it is the law of the land. Of course, it's leading up to whether or not Trump should be even allowed on the ballot. And Colorado is the very first state to have been sued. Our Jenna Griswold has been sued by a group that thinks that he should be kept off the ballot. So it'll
Because
be
of the
interesting to see what
14th
happens.
Amendment?
Because of the 14th Amendment, he violated the third allegations that he's violated the third article of the 14th Amendment about seditious activities.
It's insurrection.
Insurrection. So that's an interesting story to follow, and Colorado's at the front of it, and Jenna Griswold is right there in the thick of it,
I'll be
being
darned.
sued. She and Trump both are being sued. They're both the defendants in the lawsuit, which I think is kind of funny.
Interesting.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Please do.
So, if you're convicted of a felony, you can't vote. But, so what happens if you elect a president who's not been convicted, it's, presumed innocent, so proven guilty, then he gets into office, and the court case goes through and he's convicted of a felony, can he still be president?
He can pardon himself, right?
There is no prohibition on a felon being elected president, as far as I
But you
understand.
can't vote for yourself. That has to just cause you to wonder why you're on the ballot.
Yeah.
You know? I just thought that was interesting in giving it way too much thought while watching the news, which is probably why I should be out in the garden instead.
Yes, definitely healthier.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
That's it for me.
So if you're watching on a different platform, we are now live on Channel 11, and you can tune in. Okay, any further commissioner comments? All right, we will move to consent items. We have 2 this morning. We have the minutes of September 13th, 2023, and we have a resolution appointing citizen board members, which Charlotte will tell us about. Is there anybody who wants to separate these two, or should we just have Charlotte come talk to us and then,
Come on down.
yeah.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hello. And I just noticed as I was reviewing this today that I have made an error on this.
Okay,
The term expires in 2027, not 2025.
okay.
So I will make that correction and get that to Sam so that she can get the correct one in the record.
And we have another person interviewing because we have 2
Correct. We've got another applicant on the 13th and one on the,
It's coming up, I think.
yeah, there's 2, one for election and one for Healthy Rivers and Streams.
I just want to thank Wendy for coming back, for serving another term. And I think she's chairman right now.
She is.
So I think that's great, so, yeah, and Thanks, Charlotte, but I'll do a motion to approve both the
Okay.
items on the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Without any questions.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Charlotte.
And Wendy's awesome.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Yeah, I like it.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is 5-0. We're going to move on to the individual consideration items. The first one is an emergency ordinance and resolution, confirmatory reading, approving Pitkin County's core services plan, and Matt is going to remind us what that is.
Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm Matt McGaw, Deputy Director with Human Services, and I'm here to ask the board for approval for our second reading for the Pitkin County Core Services Plan. Just some background on that is each year Pitkin County Human Services gets an allocation to help provide services for families that are involved with our child welfare system. Our plan to the state each year includes how we intend to spend that allocation. It's about $60,000 each year. We do split that up and contract about half of that out for mental health providers. The other half is used for some of our county design programs. That includes our family meeting facilitation and our life skills program. So again, it's an allocation that we use from the state. There's not a real big budget impact on this, as this is an allocation we received to provide these services. In the event that we did overspend, we're typically mitigated by the state. For some reason, if we're not mitigated by the state, we could use our Human Services Fund to cover the cost.
Can you remind me why it's an emergency resolution?
Yeah, we needed a signature by the end of this month to make sure that we could start using our plan immediately and using those funds. So
Okay.
that was the reason.
Any questions for Matt?
Nope, looks good. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah.
I'll look for a motion then.
I'd make a motion that we approve the emergency resolution adopting Pitkin County's 2023-24 core services plan.
Looks like Kelly might have a question.
Yes, Kelly.
Does she want to second it with her?
Do we do a public hearing for confirmatory hearings?
Yes.
Oh,
I jumped the
Really?
gun, sorry.
I'll second Greg's motion.
Then you can open it up, yeah.
okay.
Thanks,
I'll
Kelly.
open a public hearing for anybody who wants to comment on the county's core service plan. Is there anybody online? There appears not to be anybody, so I will close the public hearing. And I will recognize Greg's motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay.
I'll
All those
second
in-
the motion.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-2,
All right, we can
nothing.
get that signature now for you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. The next is an individual consideration item. This is a one reading. It's an application for a special event liquor license submitted by Aspen Higher Learning Flight Academy, also known as Aspen Flight Academy. And Jeanette is going to tell us about that. You can come up too.
come on up.
There you go.
She's just the name on the piece of paper.
Hi everyone.
Jeanette.
Jeanette Jones, Manager's Office, and thank you. This is a special event liquor license application submitted by Aspen Higher Learning Flight Academy, DBA Flight, Aspen Flight Academy. That's a mouthful. And yeah, the event is going to be held from 6 to 10, located or held on October 6, 2023, from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. It's at the 69 Airport Road, and it's my understanding that's an FBO hangar?
Yes, it's out of the hangar.
Okay. The applicant has applied to the Community Development Department as well for a special event permit, and it's my understanding that will be issued by the time of the event. Joining me at the table is Hannah Simpson, and I'm going to turn the time over to her so she can give an overview of her event and for the benefit of you all and the public, and how you get tickets and all that good
Fantastic.
stuff.
Thank
All
you
right,
so
welcome,
much.
Hannah.
So like Jeanette said, my name is Hannah Simpson, and I am the Director of Operations and Chief Flight Instructor at Aspen Flight Academy. as she said, our event is being held on October 6th out at the hangar. We have the privilege of being able to expand our event this year from last year. So we're doing this evening gala. It's our first ever gala, so private event. Tickets are online at supportafa.org, and then we have coordinated with EKS Events to help, facilitate all of this because I'm not an event planner. But they're bringing in Colorado Tips trained bartenders to serve for us. We have accounted for security and are providing drivers on hand at the end of the night so we can make sure that any of our lovely attendees that aren't able to get home on their own make it safely home at the end of the evening. We're anticipating about 100 guests, but we would love to bump that up to 150. So if anybody wants tickets still, I have plenty.
What's the event for? Are you celebrating? Are you soliciting funds? Are you?
So it is a fundraiser event. So we are raising funds to help cover the costs of both the airplanes that we maintain every year, as well as our big push is giving back to our students. So we're mainly raising funds for student scholarships as well as student programs that we do every year. Last year at our fundraiser, we were very lucky that Atlantic Aviation donated $100,000 to us for student scholarships. So we have 11 students currently flying on scholarships this year, and we hope to be able to re-up those as we go into next year. Additionally, the big coverage for our Oshkosh trip that we do every year. So we take a bunch of our high school students from Aspen all the way to Rifle to Oshkosh, Wisconsin every summer for a full week. Oshkosh hosts EAA AirVenture, which is the largest air show in North America. And so we're fortunate to take them, and we get to volunteer on the line and help EAA, and they get a really hands-on experience with aviation.
Are you a 501c3?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
It's a great program.
Do you fly or drive to Oshkosh?
We fly.
Okay.
Yes, so the
We should
students
hope
get
so.
time all the way there, which is very exciting.
I just want to make a quick comment because, I always tell people not to drink and drive. In this case, we're telling people not to drink and fly.
I was going to ask if they were allowing joy rides at the event.
So on the October 6th event, not that evening.
Okay, thank you.
Alcohol and airplanes don't tend to mix very well. But we have a sister event on October 7th, which is a community showcase. So we are going to be raffling off airplane rides that afternoon. So,
Cool.
Greg loves to go up there.
well, I'm sure that we could work something out and get you up in the air anyway.
That would be fun.
Steve?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up the fact you're providing rides home for people in their cars if necessary, and I want to make sure that nobody goes and gets in one of the, the general aviation aircraft and goes for a joyride that evening. I think that should be a condition of this event.
Of course.
Because it can be really tempting for somebody getting one too many drinks under their belt and then, being careless and having an accident. That would just be completely tragic. I'm so supportive of this program. I think it's a great opportunity for the young people in our community who get to participate in this. And I would make a motion to approve the application for special event liquor license for Aspen Higher Learning Flight Academy.
I'll second it.
Is this a public hearing?
Is this a public hearing?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys have to put that on here for me because I don't know all those ins and outs. All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody who would like to comment on the liquor license for the Aspen Flight School? There's nobody online and nobody in the room, so I will close the public hearing and ask for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Hi.
All right.
Good luck.
Aye.
Hope you get that
Aye.
150 people in
Thank
there.
you.
Okay.
Best
got
of
it.
luck.
Thank you
5
guys
to
so
nothing.
much.
I hope you have a good time.
Thank you.
I'll email you your
Fantastic. Thank you.
Go back and look at what was the date of that?
All right, I have a question. Do we need to sit as the Board of Equalization to do this continuation?
Yes.
Okay, so number 5 is the Board of County Commissioners sitting as the Board of Equalization, so we are now sitting as the Board of Equalization. And our 5A is the ratification of the hearing officer's determinations of appeals at the Pickens County Assessor's Valuation, which I believe is going to be continued.
That's correct. Joining me at the table today is Sam Engine, and we're here to recommend that this item be continued to October 13th, which is your next regular meeting.
Greg, you won't
Yeah.
be here.
I won't be here.
Bummer.
And we will get some kind of summary, so we're not trying to read 3,000 pages, correct?
The summary was intended to be the Excel spreadsheet, so the 62 pages. That was the summary of
Okay.
the 4,000 or so sheets.
Yeah, and it basically has the same information on it, and it does need to be cleaned up a little bit, but the basic BOE valuations are there in the assessor's valuations, and we thought that would save you all from reading all those pages, but
We appreciate that.
whatever direction you want to give us, we will go there and get
We will
you
go
what
through the
you
62
want,
pages.
what you need by
Patty?
October
Did you
13th.
already make a copy, or have you done that yet? I thought it might be thoughtful to have one copy of all the pages up in our office, so if anybody wanted to read one of them more in depth, but if,
Where are the copies currently?
Everything's up in the administration office. We're making copies now. I will still need to take all the copies home with me to continue because we still have several renderings from hearing officers that need to be submitted. But Sam has been copying all morning, so we can provide paper copies to you all if you want to read them that way rather than have them in electronic form, but however
do
you
not.
prefer.
I do not want paper.
I was just gonna have one copy upstairs, just one copy, so if anybody wanted to pull anything up, because sometimes it's hard to read all the information. But I thought the spreadsheet, the 62 pages, is a good way if we can just put that in the packet for the next one.
Well, it's in the packet today.
Well, I couldn't find it. Remember, I went back online and it wasn't there anymore.
Okay.
But I don't need it today.
Okay.
I will take it
Okay.
the next time, but,
Okay.
yeah, but I like to have a copy upstairs so that if there's something that comes up and there's more information on each of those sheets, we can pull it up.
But we have a copy elsewhere in the building, right?
No, not a hard
Copies of all of the originals.
They're
Would be-
they're in administration,
Right.
up in the administration office, and Francie, if you want them electronically, we'll strategize.
I'm happy
and
with
get 'em
the
to you.
62 pages. That's plenty. If I have questions, I'll do something after that. Kelly and then Steve?
Yeah, I do think it would be helpful to have an electronic copy available if, not just for us, but for any members of the public who are interested in these specific appeals, whether they be their own or somebody else's. So I wonder, I guess, Jeanette, how you would envision making that available. And if it's available to us electronically, if it can be available, more broadly. And then on the spreadsheet, it would help me to understand some of the definitions of the status column a bit more, because I'm not clear on that. I thought I knew what it was, and then I sort of had to check my assumptions as I looked further at additional examples. I'm not really sure what the different stipulation and scheduled and how we're supposed to interpret that when there's different values listed, et cetera. So it maybe just somewhere on that spreadsheet that defines those terms would also be helpful.
Okay.
I agree.
Thank you, Kelly. Steve?
Yeah, I had that same concern, the difference between stipulation, which are both used, administrative denial and scheduled. And I think I know what they mean, but it would help to clarify that. The other thing that if it would be possible to put in there, in the chart what the previous valuation was for the property that is on the list. So we have the decision by the assessor's office, and then the stipulated value, or the, you know, the final value. If we could compare that to their value from 2 years ago, that would help to, you know, give a snapshot of each of the properties. So that would be, I don't know if it's possible to add that into the chart, but if it means Jeanette going through every one and putting that in, I think that's maybe too much to ask Jeanette and Sam to do, but
That's
it
exactly
would
what
be
I was
helpful
gonna
to
say.
me.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Jeanette.
The 2 year ago valuation, Steve, when you look at the assessor's valuation, there's the assessor's valuation column, and then the BOE column. That is from 2 years ago.
It's the current. It's the current.
Oh, you
Just to
mean-
clarify.
You mean before the BOE
Previous.
last year? You want that, that's easy to do.
But
Sorry, I misunderstood what you were asking.
So that you can see the increase in valuation, Steve, is that what you're looking for?
From 2 years ago to
Yeah.
current to BOE?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the increase. And I know that if we looked on, I think that if we looked on each individual thing in the big file, we could probably get that information. But if we could have it in just the spreadsheet with all of the applications, that would make it easier to understand the whole process and the appeals, and without having to go and look at each individual.
Okay. So you'll just add a column in the
Application.
spreadsheet? Yeah, cool.
We'll add another column, yeah.
Yes.
I don't, first of all, I want to thank you guys for all the work that you guys have done, and for Julia's work before she left. And this was an unusual year, and I mean, but I don't really want them to have to go back through 4,000, you know.
But
and-
they don't have to. She has the data.
I believe that I can get that in an Excel sheet from the assessors and just have that column, cut and paste,
Yeah.
put it in our spreadsheet, I'm pretty
Right.
sure.
yeah, I
Steve,
don't-
if it's a big problem, I'll let you all know.
Yeah.
And just so you know, Jeanette, you will have to take out particular ones, so it may take a while.
Yeah, I don't want to add any more work. For me, if I'm reading through them and I want a specific one, we can always go to the big stack, either on a paper copy we'll have in the office or electronically.
Why don't
What's
you
on
have a
the
look
big
at it?
stack is, let me clarify, what's on the big stack
Is the same
of
thing.
papers is what's in that spreadsheet. It's exactly the same figures.
So we won't be able to find it anywhere.
Go to the assessor's website and find the valuation from a couple
Yeah,
years
you can
ago.
put in the property number and it pulls up. Yeah, because it's already been such a huge amount of work. And, you know, if I want to know 3 or 4 properties, I'm not going to ask you to do all 4,000. I will.
Why
you
don't
know.
you see if it's just a cut and
Yeah.
paste and you can do it, and if it seems like it's gonna add a lot of work, then
You have to
why
line
don't
them
you
all
get
up.
back with Steve and, send him.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg?
I appreciate this. Yeah, this has been a phenomenal amount of work. And of course, it's very important to the community. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen 4,000 plus requests. I'd love to see an analysis at some point so I can understand the differences in the evaluations that were down at the 15% level and the ones that in particular gets close to home, because my neighborhood was in the 300% area. And I still don't understand it. And I think a lot of people, certainly in the higher valuation area, don't understand it as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to want to see an analysis of this, and I can't provide that myself because I'm still confused about it.
yeah, Greg, we were prepared to provide that to you today.
Okay.
Mick was gonna come in, we had other hearing officers that were gonna tune in virtually. I think all our hearing officers were gonna be here, and they were gonna make a presentation
Thank
on
you.
that
Just wanna
subject,
be
so
sure.
we'll make sure they're here on the 13th.
Of course, I won't be here the 13th, but I'll get the recording.
We'll put it in writing for you.
Just to clarify, to make sure I'm on the same page, is we'll make an electronic and a paper copy available to you now. We still are waiting for several hearing officers to submit determinations, but we will plan to have the finalized version posted with the packet that Friday before the meeting on the 13th.
I don't think you need to provide them to us until you have the final.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
what I was
yeah.
wondering. Do
We
you
don't
want
need
time to
2
review them
copies.
now,
You know, and
or-
we'll find other things to do between now and
Okay,
then.
that sounds great.
Okay.
Great,
Thank you, though. Thank you guys for all your hard work. We really appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, we need a motion to continue to the 13th, did we say, of October?
October 13th.
Do we need to have, is this a public hearing? We need to continue the public hearing also to that date, but we need to open it today, too.
Are you making that motion? Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so let's vote
We have to
on
public
the
hearing.
continuation.
It's not a public hearing.
You need to open a public
Didn't
hearing.
we already do that?
No.
Okay. Is there anybody in the public who would like to comment on the continuation of the ratification of the hearing officer's determination of appeals of the Pickens County Assessor's valuation?
Yes, please.
Yes.
I had a feeling.
Come on up.
Thank you. My name is Andrew Atkins with Garfield and Hecht, and I represent a number of clients who appealed. And as we talk about the materials that will be available, will that include the hearing officer's worksheets?
Yes,
Okay.
it will.
And will that be available electronically, or would we need to come in and see those here?
We're gonna discuss it tomorrow, and I'll be happy to give you a call and tell you how we're gonna do this, if that's okay.
That's fine.
I think, and just so you know, all the, by state statute, we have to mail all the hearing officers' forms to the taxpayers, then through US mail, so they're gonna be getting a paper copy too. But we'll let you know where we determine to best put all of this so everyone can see it.
If it is possible to see those in advance of the hearing, electronically or otherwise, I'd appreciate it. And
Okay.
I also just want to say thank you to the tremendous amount of work that the assessor's office and the board put in, and the hearing officers.
Thank you, thanks, we
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the public who would like to comment on this item? Anybody online? Okay, so we have a motion, and I'll look for a second, I think.
I'll second it.
So what we are voting on is the continuation of the hearing officer's determinations of appeals until October 13th. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Do we need
Aye.
a motion to adjourn the BOE?
Passes 5-0.
I'll make a motion to adjourn as the BOE.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Jeanette.
Okay, well, hi, Connie. The next item, item number 6, it is a public hearing. This is a second reading, resolution of the Board of County Commissioners approving the third quarter budget supplemental requests, and Connie Baker will walk us through that.
Hi, good afternoon. The third quarter supplemental request would increase the county's 2023 expenditures by about 4.6 million and increase also the amount of budgeted revenues by 3.4 million. That's a net difference, a net increase in budget of about $1.2 million. There are a number of items on these supplementals. And these were discussed during the September 12th work session of the board. Staff was there, so the board was able to get a lot of questions answered at that time.
Oh, we can't hear you. You've gone mute.
Okay, muted by itself. Sorry about that. Included in this resolution are the dispatch GIS rebuild, which is a first step towards a lot of technological improvements that they will be doing in the future 2 to 3 years. This is $50,000 and is funded by the E911 fund. There is a $500,000 contribution from the board to the Response Capital Campaign. This is being paid out of LATCF funding. And this resolution is changed from first reading in that we have included that additional 250,000. So the first reading, it was 250. This reading, it's 500,000.
Okay.
There's the budget for a new FTE, the coroner lead investigator position. For the microgrid project, an increase in cost of the infrastructure of 350,000. In the public health fund, there's a new grant for COVID detection at homeless service sites. And this will actually help to cover some staff time, so it's a benefit to their fund balance. And then the last project is moving the deed restricted housing program from the housing fund into the capital fund. And this requires a transfer from the general fund of 800,000 to cover any further deed restricted purchases this budget year. And then also the general fund purchasing the existing deed restricted units from the housing fund. And that's about a $2 million transfer from the general fund into the housing fund. So those are all of the items in the resolution. Does the board have any questions?
I have a question that shows how little I know about managing a big budget. What makes that transfer happen? Is it just you just move it over from one column to another, or is there documentation required? Is it what happens?
It's a journal entry that's done in our financial accounting software, and means that once the journal entry is complete, then the general fund has 2 million less, and the housing fund has 2 million more, and then the backup is the resolution from the board.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the board?
No changes since last time,
Just
other than the
yeah.
250 for response.
That's correct.
Is there anybody in the public who would like to comment on the budget supplementals? Anybody online? And seeing no one in the room, I'll close the public hearing and look for a motion if there aren't any other questions.
I'd make a motion to approve the third quarter budget supplemental requests.
Second the motion.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thanks, Connie.
Aye.
All right, thank you so much, Connie. It passed 5-0.
Thank
as
you.
usual.
Well, I was a little hesitant, remember, but I decided to move along.
Glad to hear that.
Heard that in your voice.
That's why
Okay,
I
now,
didn't make a motion.
item number 7 is the ordinance of the Board of County Commissioners authorizing open space and trails housing lease between the Board of County Commissioners and Ted O'Brien for the Deer Creek property located at 2555 Lower River Road in Snowmass 81654. And is Gary online?
Yep, there he is.
Yes, he is. I see him, and his hand is up. Is he coming alive over
Move him
there?
over.
There he is. Hi, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Hi, guys. It's sorry about that. I was all good, and then it joined me as a panelist, and everything went away. But anyway,
It's all good.
Gary Tenenbaum, I'm the director of Pickens County Open Space and Trails, and here to finish the leasing of the new caretaker unit on Deer Creek Open Space. And so nothing's changed since first reading, and so I'm here to take any questions or anything else you'd like to know.
Yes.
I just want to make a comment. Again, thank you, Gary, and I can't believe we got this done. It seems like so quickly. I know we've been talking about it for a while. I'm excited for Ted. I think it's a great opportunity, and I think he's got a great neighbor next door. And we look forward to that grand opening barbecue like we had when we opened the house next door.
Remember? I'll let Ted know that he has to do a barbecue.
Tell him that's part of the lease.
We're all coming to dinner.
I know. CPW. Yeah, well, I think he just I think he actually was successful hunting, so he might have some
Oh,
something to share for everyone.
all right. Let him know. Thanks, Gary.
Steve.
Yeah, Gary, could you remind us of what the cost of doing the renovation was? I know that we were supportive of that, but how how did the final cost of doing the renovation of this unit to turn out? And I'd love to see it too when we get a chance at the barbecue.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, honestly, we can set up a time where you guys can just, I can get you in touch with Ted and Curtis, and they're happy to have you guys anytime you want. So either one, but the total cost was about $440,000, and it came in under budget. We do really appreciate the contractor on it, Marty Treadway, really worked hard to keep us within budget. And, you know, we, as you tear apart a unit that wasn't built to necessarily, you know, a spec back a long time ago, we did find some things, but it wasn't crazy. And we were able to come away, and now we've, with that unit is fully electric. It's on heat pumps, and it is the insulation is up to our 2020 building code, and so it is a very, very solid unit. And next year we're going to be looking at trying to do solar for the entire property, including the other house, to make this property a net zero to net generator.
Great. Thanks, Gary.
Any other comments or questions for Gary? Then I'll open a public hearing on this, which is the authorizing open space and trails for a lease between the county commissioners and Ted O'Brien for the Deer Creek property. Is there anybody who would like to comment on that? I see none, so I'll close the public hearing and look for a motion from the board.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Let's vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And I'll bring potato salad, Gary.
Okay, well, that's great. I'm glad that happened.
I'll bring rhubarb cake.
Ooh,
Francis
now
will
you're
bring
definitely
sour
getting
cherry
invited.
pie.
And I just want you guys to know that entire conversation was recorded in my,
Text.
in my texts. But I have deleted it,
We don't want you to forget.
every word. Okay. Next is item number 8, which is a
scary.
resolution of the Board of County Commissioners approving a memorandum of understanding with the United States Department of Agriculture, the Forest Service, concerning the Thompson Divide withdrawal. This is an awesome one. Go, Laura.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be back for the second hearing on this. We had a pretty robust sort of conversation on it last time, so I don't want to repeat too much information. But just the highlights are that the Secretary of Interior has proposed removing over 200,000 acres from resource development in the Thompson Divide area. I have a map I'd love to bring up if folks are open to that.
Yeah. It's a good thing we're doing this now instead of in a few days when there
I was just
won't
going to
be a
say
federal
that. Quick,
government,
let's
maybe.
get this done.
So this is the northern portion of the area that's proposed to be withdrawn. The withdrawal will be for 20 years. What we're talking about here today is a memorandum of understanding so that the Board of County Commissioners can participate in this process as a consulting entity agency, which gives us insight into how the federal government is moving this forward through their NEPA process. It allows this board, which has specific expertise in local land use, to comment and to help inform that process in a way that's really useful for the federal government and useful for the Board of County Commissioners towards their end outcome that they're seeking, which is this withdrawal. And I think you guys have a even bigger picture sort of approach as well. But this is a great next step. So as you can see on the map here, this is the area we typically think of as the Thompson Divide. As you see, my hand moving around on there. The withdrawal does include an even larger area proposed, which is over on the Crested Butte side, that implicates some of the Red Lady Mount Emmons discussions that have been ongoing between Gunnison County, Crested Butte, the federal government, and the owner of the mine for a long time. So just know when we talk about the Thompson Divide area, it does actually, in terms of this withdrawal, include something a little bit larger than we traditionally think of as Thompson Divide. But the area that this board has been particularly concerned of here in Pitkin County is included within this withdrawal. I'm happy to take questions about process, next steps, anything that the board wants to discuss. But I did want to just bring up the maps so that the public knows the area we are talking about.
I just have a really quick question. Will the MOU be effective immediately?
The MOU will be effective when the feds sign it.
So quick.
Oh,
I'm working on it, guys.
well, okay.
Question about
Who knows when that might be? Okay.
Greg has a.
the area, just so people know, the entire drive to Crested Butte seems to have been included in this, almost the entire way into Crested Butte, last few miles, as part of the withdrawal on that end. So this does affect people's who drive over there at Kebler Pass. It looks like that's inside the withdrawal area.
I think you're talking about this area right here, and yes.
Yeah, that's huge. It's practically the entire drive to Crested Butte from 133.
Well, it affects us all whether we see it or not on many levels. Patty?
Yeah, can you go back to the other map? So where on this map, if it's on this map, are the storage wells?
They're within Pitkin County, but they're not specifically like called out on the map, if that's the answer.
Because when I got lost up there a couple weeks ago, I drove that whole area on those back roads. It was amazingly beautiful. And I went by the storage wells that I'd visited many, many years ago. And I'm thinking, I think this is the area we're taking off the map here.
Yep.
So yeah, it was gorgeous back there. Gorgeous terrain and well utilized by the public in a nice manner from what I could see. So that was impressive.
Were there some little intrusions still that we were talking about last time? Has that changed?
That was actually on the Core Act, not this.
That's correct. Thank you. Okay.
Yep. No, there's so many moving pieces that are dealing with the same sort of larger policy goal that are moving at a variety of speeds through a variety of processes.
I'd love to be able to. I'm trying to figure out where the county line is.
So the county line is
Garfield,
this.
Pitkin.
Yeah. So if you go right here, if you follow my arrow, it comes right here across, down like this.
Follows the boundary.
And over here.
Okay. Thank you.
That was very smoothly done.
I'm so smooth,
I'm
guys.
impressed.
To practice.
Well, our cattle are up there right now. They have a couple more weeks of that.
Oh, I bet I ran into
You might have.
an Icelandic who was up there, beautiful horses. They were bringing cows down.
They're just moving them from one place to another.
Yeah, and they were going out in the field to look for a sick bull. And it was
When was that?
This was 2 weekends ago. And it was gorgeous, and I stopped him because I was lost. And then I said, I think I know you. And he goes, I think I know you. And so then I said,
Was it Tim and Ted?
yeah. And
Nice.
they were heading up this draw, and it was gorgeous.
Yeah. Ty's up there today.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Laura?
Nope.
Okay.
Public hearing,
Is there anybody in the public who would like to comment on this memorandum of understanding with the Forest Service concerning the Thompson Divide withdrawal? Anybody online? There is a phone call online. If you're interested in talking with us, please raise your hand, which is *6 on phones, or 9. Try either one.
You're either going to speak or you're going to raise your hand.
Nothing happening.
It's not Joe Wells.
Yeah, where's Joe today?
All right, I don't see
Somebody
a
call.
response from the person on the phone, so I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the commissioners to see if there's any more questions.
No
Seeing none,
questions,
I'm
but
going to ask for a motion.
I'd make a motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding with the USDA Forest Service concerning the Thompson Divide withdrawal. Hee-haw.
And I will second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Yes, very
Aye.
enthusiastic aye.
Thank you. Now, go
Yay.
upstairs and get this done.
Okay.
Good
It
luck.
passes 5-0. So, it's been a while since the meeting in Carbondale, but it's happening.
It's happening.
Great. Good job, Laura.
Diligence.
Item number 9 is a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners approving a grant agreement with the Colorado Department of Health Care Policy and Financing for the American Rescue Plan Act funding for security improvements at the Health and Human Services Building. Either Jay or Sam or Matt.
I'm here for Sam today.
Okay, great.
So I don't know if Jay wants to, is Jay or Scott on the call?
Oh,
I can take the lead if need be, but just checking.
Hello.
Oh, there. Is he there?
Yes,
hi.
I'm here. I'm.
We can't see you. Is that Jay?
This is Jake Clark. I'm sorry.
Okay, great.
So I'll go ahead and take the lead since I'm here in person. So we have a second reading here today to approve a grant agreement with Colorado Department of Healthcare and Financing. There's some American Rescue Plan funding, some ARPA funding available to help with security improvements at the Health and Human Services Building. There is $37,788 of a grant that has been applied for, and Pitkin County has a match. Sorry. Didn't know if he was going to correct me. But yeah, Pitkin County has a match of just over $5,000 to help support this project. Again, the security improvements would include some security cameras at the building and the wall and the designated smoking area to help prevent some of the issues we've had there with that. Jay, was there anything else you'd like to add on your end?
No, those are the correct numbers, and that is exactly what it's for. Thank you, Matt.
Is there any questions? Or?
Patty?
I just have a comment. Thanks for doing this and getting this done. I know it's a start in helping to address the concerns of the neighbors, and we took their concerns seriously, as did everybody who's on that campus. So we really appreciate it, and we'll just see how the next steps go with how, if any issues come up, and hopefully this will help to resolve them. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the support.
Steve?
Thank you.
Yeah, my question is, I'm curious where the location of the smoking shelter is going to be. Is it going to be out in front near the main entrance or out a back door for the staff and people at the homeless shelter, or
We don't have any
whereabouts?
staff who smoke. What are you talking about?
It's a public health building.
At the moment, we're looking at placing it on the far side of the parking garage. The storage garage that we have there in the parking lot, and it would sit there, right off of it, in between that and HHS.
Got it.
And will it have chairs and things, or benches, or?
Good question.
There are a series of benches that wrap around the inside of the structure. It's covered for weather purposes, and it will be bolted directly down to the concrete.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if someone were at the Rafta bus stop, it'd be close to where they'd be waiting? So there probably would be some other people coming from that direction to use it also?
There's a clear separation there between the bus stop and the designated smoking area, and the garage will sit in between the two structures. So there is a separation.
Okay, so then not likely. I mean, somebody might walk around to get there, but not likely.
Unlikely, yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments?
One other thing, though, there's been issues with that whole campus is a non-smoking campus, so we know that we have kind of reserved this thought. But to let the hospital know, because you frequently see people coming out from the hospital, some people under a lot of stress because they have someone, a family member, a friend, who's in the hospital, and smoking right in front of the hospital. So if we can maybe have a way to direct them to this smoking area, I think that'd be beneficial for the hospital also. Not that we want to overcrowd.
I would be more
but-
than glad to
Yeah, that would be great, thank
coordinate
you.
with that, with the
Is there anybody in the public who would like to comment on the receiving of funds from ARPA for increased security improvements at the Health and Human Services Building? Anybody online? Doesn't look like anybody's online or in the room, so I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the commissioners for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second motion?
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you,
Aye.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Now I'm gonna just follow you out. for my-
Okay, we are at the end of our agenda. So I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there any open discussion?
Open
Staff?
discussion?
There is no open discussion on here, but if you would like to have, oh yeah, there is open discussion. I missed it. Sorry, it was at the bottom of the page. Sure, open discussion.
There's none from staff.
Okay. Any from commissioners?
Can't think of anything.
Okay. Then I will honor Greg's motion to adjourn and look for a second.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
We are adjourned. Thank you. What's his name? Wait.
Noah.
Noah, thank you so much.
You have more mobility today, it seems.
We have a lot of movement in the IT and grassroots world. Less movement might be more effective in the end. So are we working on a whole new IT thing in here?